Caleb Knox's final moments played out beneath 1,000 lights while Detective Mara Ellison began a relentless pursuit of the shadowed figure whose grainy silhouette captured fleeing through rain-slick alleys would ignite a nationwide hunt and unravel a conspiracy darker than anyone imagined. The night of the keynote address began with restless energy in the city of Fairhaven, a place usually quiet after dark. Crowds filled the historic Marlowe Hall, eager to hear Caleb Knox, a rising political speaker known for his fierce debates and magnetic stage presence. Inside the grand room, chandeliers flickered with a golden glow while cameras from local news stations captured every angle. Outside, rain drizzled over slick cobblestone streets, the neon reflections of nearby cafes rippling like liquid fire. Among the throngs of supporters, an unknown figure lingered in the shadows, keeping to narrow alleyways and blending with the restless crowd. Security guards scanned faces, but nothing about this lone watcher raised an alarm. Caleb's voice carried through the hall with the steady rhythm of a seasoned orator. His words about unity and reform echoed beyond the heavy doors and spilled into the damp night air. Viewers at home watched through live streams, unaware that a darker drama was unfolding behind the cameras. Across the street, a flicker of movement caught on a security lens, an almost imperceptible silhouette slipping behind a row of parked cars. The drizzle masked footsteps, and the faint hum of traffic disguised every calculated motion. Inside, the atmosphere tightened as Caleb neared the conclusion of his speech. Applause swelled and fell in waves. People leaned forward with phones raised, capturing his final statements. At that precise moment, a power surge flickered through the building, dimming lights for the briefest instant. The crowd murmured, but Caleb continued, unshaken. In that breath of darkness, the hidden figure advanced closer, using the confusion as cover. The next seconds passed in a blur. A sharp crack split the night, a sound some mistook for a microphone failing. Gasps turned to screams as Caleb collapsed behind the podium. Panic erupted, chairs scraping across polished floors as the audience surged toward exits. Security swarmed the stage, but the assailant had already melted into the chaos. Cameras continued recording, their lenses catching fragments of motion, a dark jacket disappearing through a side door, the faint gleam of rain-soaked pavement beyond. By the time emergency sirens pierced the night, the killer was already gone. Within minutes, grainy video from a nearby alley would reveal the most haunting image of all: a lone figure sprinting into darkness, head down, face hidden, leaving behind only questions and a trail of cold rain. Detectives flooded Marlowe Hall within the hour, their radios hissing with urgent updates as the last of the terrified crowd was escorted out into the damp streets. Yellow tape stretched across the entrance while investigators documented every overturned chair and discarded phone case left in the panic. Caleb Knox's podium stood like a silent monument to the chaos, streaked with the evidence of sudden violence. Outside, a wall of flashing red and blue lights reflected on the wet cobblestones, illuminating faces of onlookers who whispered theories and clutched their umbrellas. News crews scrambled to broadcast breaking updates, but facts were scarce and rumors multiplied faster than they could be checked. Forensic teams moved with precision, bagging shell casings and photographing every angle of the hall. The bullet that ended Caleb's life had lodged into the wooden beam behind the stage, a small metallic clue that might one day lead to a name. Officers began canvassing the surrounding streets, questioning cafe owners and late-night workers who might have noticed someone out of place. Yet the rain, relentless and cold, washed away many traces before they could even be recorded. Meanwhile, the video that would soon grip the nation was already spreading online. A grainy clip from a corner security camera captured the figure racing through a narrow alley only minutes after the shooting. Viewers replayed it frame by frame, debating everything from the suspect's stride to the possible flash of a hidden weapon. The footage offered no clear face, only the silhouette of someone dressed in dark clothes, running with a purposeful urgency that chilled anyone watching. Comment sections swelled with speculation: a political rival, a disillusioned follower, a professional assassin. Each theory seemed plausible, yet none fit neatly. Detective Mara Ellison, a seasoned investigator known for her relentless attention to detail, led the case. She studied the footage repeatedly, noting the slight limp in the runner's left leg, the way their head remained low as if anticipating cameras. Her team pulled traffic data, scoured public transportation records, and reviewed every surveillance feed within a mile radius. Still, the suspect remained a shadow. As dawn broke, Fairhaven awoke to headlines screaming of tragedy and mystery. Caleb Knox's supporters gathered outside the hall, leaving flowers and candles that flickered in the morning breeze. Across the city, fear settled in like a heavy fog, the sense that the killer was still among them, watching, waiting, and perhaps planning their next move. The investigation stretched into its third day, and the city's unease deepened with each passing hour. Patrol cars swept through Fairhaven's districts, sirens cutting across the early morning mist as detectives followed an ever-widening trail of possibilities. Detective Mara Ellison had converted an old conference room at police headquarters into a war room. Maps of the city covered the walls, red strings linking alleyways, bus stops, and camera locations where the mysterious figure might have passed. Each new lead promised progress, but dissolved into dead ends, as though the suspect had anticipated every move. Digital forensics uncovered an unexpected complication. Minutes before the shooting, the building's security network experienced a targeted disruption, a brief but deliberate interference that allowed someone to move undetected for a critical span of time. Experts traced the signal to a disposable device left in a trash bin blocks away, a sign of meticulous planning. This revelation shifted the narrative from a random act of violence to a calculated assassination, carried out by someone who understood both technology and timing. Witness interviews added more fragments to the puzzle. A taxi driver recalled nearly colliding with a pedestrian matching the figure's description near the riverfront. A barista remembered a customer paying in cash for an oversized hooded jacket days earlier. None of these details identified a name, but they reinforced the image of a killer who blended into ordinary life with chilling ease. Mara scrutinized every account, searching for patterns that might reveal where the suspect had gone after vanishing into the rainy night. Public reaction only intensified. The video clip of the fleeing silhouette dominated every screen: televisions, phones, billboards, turning the unknown runner into a symbol of fear. Amateur sleuths dissected the footage, posting slowed-down analyses that claimed to spot distinguishing marks or hidden messages. Online theories ranged from organized crime to political conspiracy, creating a storm of speculation that threatened to drown the official investigation. Late one evening, Mara reviewed traffic camera data from the industrial district and noticed a fleeting shadow on a distant bridge minutes after the shooting. It was barely visible, a blur against the drizzle, but it aligned perfectly with the timeline. The bridge led to a network of abandoned warehouses long forgotten by the city. Her pulse quickened as she marked the location. For the first time since the night of the murder, the chase had a direction, and the empty, echoing structures by the river suddenly seemed alive with possibility. Detective Mara Ellison approached the derelict warehouse district with a quiet intensity, her footsteps echoing through the damp night as the river's slow current murmured nearby. The area had once been a hub for shipping and storage, but years of neglect left it a hollow maze of rusted metal and cracked concrete. Dim security lights flickered intermittently, casting long, restless shadows across the graffiti-covered walls. Her team followed at a careful distance, their radios muted to avoid alerting anyone who might be hiding inside. The scent of oil and wet steel lingered in the air, mixing with the cold wind off the water. Inside the largest warehouse, evidence of recent activity contradicted the outward decay. A trail of fresh footprints crossed a layer of dust, and faint heat signatures still clung to the walls when scanned with thermal equipment. Someone had been there possibly hours ago, maybe minutes. Mara studied the scene with measured patience, her flashlight revealing a scattered collection of items: an empty water bottle, a torn bus ticket, and a single glove soaked from the previous night's rain. Each object felt deliberately left behind, as though the suspect was both taunting and testing the investigators. Further examination uncovered a more disturbing clue. Hidden beneath a stack of wooden pallets, technicians discovered a small, encrypted laptop. The device was wiped of identifiable data, but its hard drive contained fragments of surveillance feeds from Marlowe Hall, including camera angles not accessible to the public. The killer had not only planned the attack with precision, but had also monitored the aftermath in real time. It was a chilling confirmation that the figure in the video possessed far greater resources and technical skill than previously imagined. As the team cataloged every fragment of evidence, a sudden metallic clang echoed from deeper within the building. Flashlights swept across dark corridors, revealing only rats scurrying through puddles and the creak of rusted beams. The noise faded as quickly as it had appeared, but the message was clear. Whoever had been there was aware of the pursuit and remained just out of reach. When dawn broke, Mara stood at the warehouse entrance, watching the river swallow the first light of morning. The warehouse had yielded clues, but no final answers, only a sharper sense of the adversary's cunning. Somewhere beyond those cold waters, the killer was moving again, always a step ahead, leaving behind a trail that led deeper into uncertainty and a city growing more fearful with every passing day. The days following the warehouse discovery unfolded with relentless tension, each hour tightening the grip of the unknown on Fairhaven. Detective Mara Ellison worked through sleepless nights, her office transformed into a labyrinth of maps, photos, and encrypted data. The fragments recovered from the laptop became the centerpiece of her investigation. Cybercrime analysts trace faint digital fingerprints hidden deep in the wiped drive, an irregular network path that hinted at offshore servers and sophisticated encryption. Every breakthrough revealed another layer of careful planning, suggesting that the killer operated as part of a wider, invisible structure rather than a lone rogue. Meanwhile, the city's anxiety reached a fever pitch. Candlelight vigils for Caleb Knox filled public squares while online forums seethed with conjecture and blame. Politicians demanded swift justice, and talk shows dissected every grainy frame of the escape footage. The shadowy runner had become a national obsession, their blurred outline printed on t-shirts, flashed across giant screens, and turned into endless memes that masked the gravity of the crime. Beneath the spectacle, Mara sensed the danger of distraction. The killer was watching too, gauging the investigation's progress through the chaos. A breakthrough arrived unexpectedly. Surveillance cameras at a remote train station on the city's edge captured a figure wearing a similar dark jacket and displaying the same subtle limp identified earlier. The timestamp placed the person there less than 12 hours after the warehouse sweep. Investigators descended on the station, uncovering a locker rented under a false name. Inside lay a pair of worn running shoes, a burner phone with its SIM card destroyed, and a single folded map of the Eastern Railway lines. The message felt deliberate, as though the killer wanted the pursuit to continue beyond Fairhaven. Mara boarded the next outbound train, her mind racing through possibilities. She imagined the suspect slipping across state lines, blending once again into the anonymity of crowded terminals. Each clue so far had been calculated, almost theatrical, designed to lure and mislead. Yet the trail remained unbroken, a silent invitation to keep chasing. As the train pulled away from the station, Mara watched the city fade into morning haze. Behind her lay unanswered questions, a grieving populace, and a case that had only grown more complex. Somewhere on the endless railways ahead, the figure who shattered a city's sense of safety was still running, leaving a legacy of fear and fascination that no arrest or escape could ever fully erase.